My name is ESO and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to build this piece of architecture in the background you see. We're currently located in the plains biome, and it's one of the most dangerous areas in the game currently, full of high level enemies, and it's pretty hard to find like a safe spot to actually build your base. So what I actually decided to do is build my base on top of one of these stalagmites, these stone sort of mountain like features that are coming out of the ground. I have a spiral stone staircase that basically extends up to the top of a wooden house. And the best thing about this is if you're up here, no enemies are going to spawn near you and you can't aggro anyone because you're just so high up off the ground. But what I found by building a staircase is since you don't aggro any enemies being so high up, is no enemies like will ever come up that staircase and attack you, so you're 100% safe. And also because the staircase is made out of stone, I mean, even if I made it out of wood, because you're not close enough to the enemies to aggro them, they won't start attacking your structures. So I've basically timestamped everything below so you can skip ahead if you want, and you guys can get some tips and tricks on how I built this structure. In return, all I ask is that you drop a like on the video, and obviously if you like build videos, hit the subscribe button. Starting out, we're going to be building a ladder all the way to the top of this stone pillar. You have an option though, it can be in stone or it can be in wood. So I've obviously built myself a crafting bench and a stonecutter bench because I'm going to be building it in stone. I'm right next to a mountain, there's tons of stone available, so it seems like the perfect material. So this is the first block we have placed just down here at the edge, and then you can see when you actually build the second one, it will kind of go slightly into the wall here, so it acts as its own support. We will be building further support underneath it in a moment, but for now we're just going to line everything up. So as you can see, this last one lines up exactly with the edge pretty much, even though it's slightly at an angle. It just so happens that each one of these pretty much lines up with the edge of the pillar. That's very important. As you build up, you understand why. Next, we're going to go ahead and reinforce this section. So I'm going to go ahead and put some stone underneath it. So there you have it, the staircase going up the edge, and we just put the arch underneath it there just to make it look really nice. So the next thing we need to do is get the stone floor. And we need to put that on the very edge of this corner here, like so. Now you will notice that is a slightly different color. You can use the 2x1s as well if you want. So now we're at this top part, we can actually start building upwards from here. And there we go, we've built all the way to the top edge. You can see it overlaps a little bit. That's a good thing, don't worry about it. Now, as you guys can see, I've made the staircase profile even thinner in this section. I had to build some little support things here so I could actually reach up to the top to actually build that. But this side is a lot thicker. This is probably more realistic architecturally. So just here we've encountered a bit of an issue because the stone staircase actually narrows off because it's kind of built into the wall to the point where I can't actually get around the corner and it's way too narrow. So as you can see, I have now fixed this issue and the staircase actually bears out to the right and then comes around the corner here, and then we can continue up this side over here. You can see underneath I had to build like a second staircase to continue building this staircase above, which is a little bit complicated, but yeah, it works. The pleasures of using stone. So there you go, now we've finished off this sort of angular staircase, and this sort of angle here was really difficult. Alright, so we've just finished stage 1 of this build. As you can see, we have a rather nice stone staircase that spirals all the way to the top. But now we need to start building the top, and obviously you have a choice about it being either made from stone or wood. I'm going to be building the foundation in stone, but let me show you guys the staircase. You can see it's got a super thin profile there, and I've reinforced some sections just so it doesn't fall down, because you can essentially just build into the rock to support this. I would say it's 100% easier to build a wooden staircase though, since it requires a lot less support, and you know, the amount of stone required for something like this is just ridiculous. And as you can see, some parts are rather narrow as well, but I've extended it out just here so you can actually easily still get up to the top. And then it stops at this point where, you know, the rock above us starts to narrow out. So now we need to deal with this situation. So we need to build ourselves another crafting bench and another stone cutter. Now, you see, the stone cutter and crafting bench basically have like a big circle around them that extends vertically and horizontally. So if you're this high up, then the crafting bench you built at the start won't actually extend this high. So you need to build another one. You can destroy the ones below after you build the staircase and just carry on building up here and move them around with you as you go. That's what I'm doing. So I've finished off the stone staircase here, just heading off into the abyss. And now we're going to start building our structural support for the wood structure on top of it. Going to use these 30-degree angle beams just to reinforce this ladder and make sure it's extremely strong as we come to the top of the structure where we're actually going to start building our full base. So now I'm actually going to build some wooden platforms. You can literally just like put them next to the rock and they'll 100% support your weight and anything else. And I'm going to be leaping from these platforms to basically build a wooden structure out of wooden beams into the rock formation. So whatever I build above this is going to be completely supported, because essentially you want this foundation to look pretty ridiculous in terms of structure. Like, the thicker it is, the more heavy the load you can actually place on top of it. And any work you do now regarding the structure, no matter how overkill this might seem, it's just going to save your life later, because it will allow you to build bigger and higher without having to come back down to the base and reinforce the foundation later. So I highly recommend taking your time at this point and just building up a solid foundation. So now I'm extending the staircase towards the top floor, and obviously after I've extended this I will go back underneath it and make sure I've got beams that are like sitting into the rock face, so as soon as I build up from this staircase it's still going to be a solid foundation. The next thing I'm going to be doing is laying out the ground floor, which I'm going to be using these just standard wooden panels for. I will be going around again in beams around the edges and just making sure everything's nice and secure, and then I'll be stocking beams upon beams so those beams are secure. Beams. It's really just a lot of back and forth at this point, and obviously each one of the top of these sort of stalagmite mountain features coming out of the ground are slightly different, so you know, your build will be similar, but essentially the architecture forms around the natural landscape that you're dealing with, and then you kind of come up with something probably slightly different to what I built, but that's really the beauty of it. And really, please do share whatever you build if you're trying to do this yourself with me on Twitter or social media, all linked down below in the description. Next, I'm going to be building the top layer, which is kind of like the first floor of this building, and I'm also going to be going back down and just reinforcing the structure now I know where it's actually going to go. And again, if you guys are enjoying this video so far, please do drop a like. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm and pushes this video out to other people. The next thing I'm doing is going around and just adding all the beams to the edges. And you'll notice I'm building up loads of beams extending vertically into the next floor because we really do need those. There's going to be a lot of load-bearing structure, especially when we come to the roof. And any mistakes you make now, you're going to regret later when you build that roof because it will just be falling down. And then I'm going to start building up a staircase to the next floor, which again, I'm using the 35-degree one instead of the really angular 45-degree one, just because it's so much easier to walk up this one. You also notice that some of these floor panels start to fall down because there's not enough support underneath them, so I basically start building a central column. But before we actually do this, I'm going to mine away the rock in the middle, and then I'm going to have like my central fireplace in the center. So as you guys can see, I've mined away this section on top of the mountain. You have to be very careful with this because anything you mine, you can't get back. So you don't want to do all this work and then just mess it up in the last minute. But now, as you can see, I can actually fit a hearth underneath this, like so. Now, if you wanted to be an actual lighthouse, you could continue this sort of frame around the outside here, and then you could have two hearths in the center. So I tested out putting two hearths right next to each other. I actually prefer this effect, and I think I actually will turn this place into a lighthouse on the bottom floor, so it's just completely open. Let's go ahead and continue these structures around the outside. And there we go. Now we have the fire bonus, and it looks epic. It's going to look like a lighthouse from a distance, so it's just going to be like this beacon that is your base, essentially. So now I need to continue building the top floor. Now, obviously, you could leave like a hole here and then put like a barrier around it so it's just burning, which might look quite exciting, but you will obviously lose some space for doing that. So there you go. Now you have the smoke coming out like a chimney. Okay, so we've done the pillars for the next layer. I've inserted a chimney in the middle. The only thing, let me just check this actually. This is a slight concern. Yes, so we can add wood through the fire here. But obviously we actually need to put a proper roof on because we're so high up. When it rains or snows, you know, it's just going to extinguish the fire. So that's the next step for our project, to actually build a proper roof. So we're going to come out a bit wider from where we've placed all our supports on this side, like so. Then we're going to create the architectural dream, my friends. We are going to increase support on this structure momentarily, but first we need to get the 45 roofing panel, like so. We start doing this across. I'm going to continue it up like this, and you can see the snow starting to disappear already from the floor, which is good. Now, if you like, you can leave this bare and you can wall it up, but I'm actually going to leave it kind of like a storage cabinet on the outside of the base where we're going to put all our chests and stuff, just to make it look super nice. That's where our like chest storage will go, and I think it's like a really nice sort of cozy architectural loft space, which I'm a huge fan of personally. So let's start extending our supports out in these areas. And we need 2 high over here. This one needs to be a couple high. Oh, hello. Build like a little area we can work with this a bit easier. We are going to need to put another craft bench down so we can actually carry on building upwards. Now I'm going to reinforce these underneath so we can carry on building upwards with the support we need. Now I did lose a little bit of footage when I was building the roof and the beams for the roof, but essentially I just extended the central fireplace structure upwards into the building, and then I carried on with the beams using those to support them. And then the wall on the outer side, the triangle shaped wall that I'm building right now, actually helped also support the roofing too. And then finally we're going to wall in this whole structure. Now I have built like a little sort of balcony here using 2 gates, but do be careful when you open them that you don't push anyone off standing inside. Now for the chimney of the roof design, what I've done is I've actually put 2 30-degree cross beams on, you know, the lower part just here and also the top part, and I've spanned that gap in the middle with those cross beams. And then I just put some more 45-degree roof panels on there, and as you guys can see, it leaves a slight gap. But if you come inside, essentially the smoke sort of gathers at the top and then leaves through those 2 gaps. And even upstairs, you still get the benefits of the fire that's coming from downstairs. So it's pretty efficient in terms of heat, because heat rises. So the next thing I did was just some internal sort of beam structures just to further support the roof and make sure everything was sturdy. And then I kind of thought it needed some more light and like a balcony or dormer window. So I decided to add that onto the roofing section. And now you guys kind of see me lay out the beam placement and sort of figure out how that's going to look architecturally. They actually have roofing panels specifically made for things like this, so it works really well. And then I just had to use a wall panel to cover up the holes there. And it really widens out the living area and extend the usable floor space. So currently that is what our structure looks like. It's pretty damn insane. I'm pretty happy with it so far. However, we do need to remove this stone pillar here, and also we can definitely improve the roof a little bit. Currently we've got a nice window out of the side here which goes 2 by 2, and I want to do that on the same size but like a double window, because currently it looks a little bit too flat for my liking. Okay, so now I have one window over here, another window over here, and then the final window is basically like a huge balcony as well, so you can like see right around the panorama on this side. And then of course we have these doors. Now these doors will probably pretty much always be open. I could add like a sort of balcony here. So I've just finished this balcony, and I think that it kind of needs like a bit of a roof over it to sort of round out this building a little bit more, just so it looks a little bit more three-dimensional and less flat on the side. So we're going to start with having a wooden beam extending outwards like this. I only want like a small little roof over this section. We may also need some additional support just so this doesn't fall down. Alright my friends, we have now finished the main structure. So essentially it's just a skull of a building, and it's ready to be furnished with all the crafting stations and storage and whatnot. So you guys can see it. Oh, I love the look of it. I'm such a big fan. I've spent a while on this now, and here we are. So obviously we can go up our stone staircase that we initially built. I kind of like that it's like of varying sizes, especially this bit, because it looks kind of natural, almost like it's been carved into the rock. It kind of changes angles but still maintains contact with the left side of the what's it called, a stalagmite, I guess, coming out of the ground, this giant rock formation. Now, to be honest with you, I'll probably end up building a portal from the top to the bottom, using it as a lift. But this is the part where stone hits wood, and then the whole structure is just balanced on top of this rock. And you can see I did some extra reinforcement here at the bottom just to give it the support that was needed. So this is our first floor that we made, and we're already in the resting area now with our hearth inside this central wooden column. This is going to be like a completely open deck platform. It's kind of like a viewing deck. I might have some crafting stations and forges in this area just so we can easily access them. But then the main living quarters is upstairs here. So this is where all the bedrooms are going to be and whatnot. And we have our first amazing view. You can actually see the current final boss in the game is actually located just over there, which is, again, why I've built my house in between the mountain biome, dark forest, marshland. Everything is here, really. So it's pretty ideal. And also, you'll notice I still have the fire bonus, even though it's downstairs. It's like channeled all the way up through the chimney in the roof. And obviously I've got like the wooden beam architecture here that continues into the roof rafters. There's a couple of beams I could replace just to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, but I'm pretty happy with it anyway. And then we have like the main central balcony just here, which is an incredible view over one of the encampments over there. And then we've got the great tree, the dark forest over there in the distance, and the mountain. And then we can actually swing open these doors here. I'll probably leave them open all the time just because it gives you like a panoramic view as you walk around. But you can actually come out here. It's like a roofed area. And there's like, you know, another sort of 180 view of the mountaintops, which looks pretty damn epic. But I'll probably leave these doors sort of facing outwards because then it's like a completely sort of sheltered area here, which is really nice. And again, we have another one on the other side with another beautiful panorama just there. Now I could as well, if I wanted to, I could build some steps up to, you know, utilize a sort of storage space above me, but I kind of just like the tall ceilings and not having claustrophobic sort of, you know, roofing just above your head. But that's just me. Let me know what you guys think so far. I'm going to furnish it now and I'll show you guys the finished product in a moment. So there you guys can see now the full structure in its complete glory. We've completely redone the roof terrace and we've got a balcony facing out of each side of the window. So, you know, you can enjoy those panoramic views to the sea as well. And I've even hung some braziers underneath so we can actually enjoy some lighting beyond the atmospheric lighting of the hearth. So now I've fully furnished everything. We've got a few lights on the way up, but I wanted to kind of just run you guys through it quickly. So we've got our mead fermenter just here, and then we've got pretty much a crafting station on the first floor. So I've got the artisan table and whatnot, and all the other things I need for crafting. And you can see I'm right now resting comfort 14 and sheltered in here. So it's pretty amazing in terms of, you know, just buffing your character before you head out. I did actually knock through the wall here so I could use a cauldron in the fireplace. I could quite easily, you know, like build out the staircase of stone a little bit and have some cooking stations as you sort of walk up the staircase. But again, I didn't want to remove the aesthetic of the current build. I just love these views, dude. I cannot get over how cool it looks. We've obviously added all the chests. I've not actually stocked them with anything yet. And we've got another view with a green candle there. And I've also got a ward here because, you know, anyone can join this server and enjoy this house. So I wanted to protect it. I've also got the chopping block hidden up here just to, you know, create sleek finish to it. And of course, I've got the portal where I can set it to any biome I want to visit. I was actually going to build like a portal room so you could go anywhere in my ever-expanding kingdom really easily. But yeah, I haven't done it in this particular house yet. And then obviously you've got some benches that you can use. And I put that in front of the throne here. And I also use some banners to kind of, you know, like when you come in the staircase here, these banners are like a little bit of privacy from the bedroom area. I didn't continue them all the way around just because I kind of wanted to soften up the area a little bit. And then we've also got some beehives as well that are currently empty. But I was thinking about getting a ladder out here and building roof access so those bees have enough space to actually function. I was also contemplating building a portal that would literally just take you to the ground floor like an elevator just to save you time running up the staircase. As you guys can see, it kind of functions as a lighthouse as well, but obviously the light doesn't actually render that far, but you can get the idea. It's kind of like this sort of beacon in the distance on top of the mountain, which I really like the aesthetic of. Even from a distance, it is very easy to find just because of those light effects. So my friends, with that, I will end this episode here. Drop a like if you did enjoy it. And of course, you can subscribe with the bell icon if you want to see more build videos. If you've got any cool ideas or things you want to share, let me know in the comment section. Maybe I will take one of those ideas and build something out of it. Or if you're struggling in a certain area, I'll try and build like a cool defensive base. Obviously, this one was very extravagant, but it was a lot of fun and very unique sort of thing that I'm sure you guys will have your own version of that. I would love for you to share with me on Twitter or Instagram or any other social media. All my social media is linked down below, by the way, if you're interested in following me there. But thank you so much for watching, guys. It's even snowing at the top, which I just love. I will see you in the next video. Have a great day and goodbye.